One.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Untitled Hoops podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about basketball, mainly the NBA, mainly the 76ers. Marquise is one of your hosts for the evening. I don't know why he's smirking like that.
Testing.
Oh my God. I'm just fucking testing. And I am Sean. I am the other host. Welcome if this is your first time here. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. Um, where should we start off? First of all, the second round is in full swing. Second round of the NBA playoffs.
Has everyone played?
Um,
Everyone has
what?
played. Yeah, everyone has
Yeah,
played.
everyone's played. Yep.
Majority of the series are tied.
Nuggets and Suns are on game two, or they're
Game
about to
three.
play game three, I think.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Lakers and Warriors are playing game two, I think, tonight.
Yep.
Sixers and Celtics game three is tomorrow.
No, 2 days because they travel.
Oh, Saturday, right?
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah.
So Saturday,
hmm
even though it's not even that long of a travel. But anyway, and then Knicks Heat, I believe, are about to be on game three, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Let me pull up the standings really quick. But while I'm doing that, Marquise, what do you second round is going so far?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit.
I said I'm about to pull up the records, like with all the teams, like the standings right now for the playoffs. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, what do you think about the second round so far? And also, what do you think about like some of these matchups?
It's been fun. I would say, but I would say injuries have kind of fucked the league up a little bit because literally we're doing kind of load
Yeah,
management in the playoffs,
yeah,
and it's
that's
kind of
true.
crazy. Like
Um,
situation like with Joel, like
Obviously, Joel Embiid
yeah,
missing game one.
yeah, Jimmy Butler missing game
Yeah,
two, like you know what I mean. Like
yep.
even going back to the first round, Kawhi not being there. Certain players, Giannis, like that, like injuries have really shaped the playoffs and how it's been so far. And it's unfortunate, but like there's some teams that might get more wins than expected because of these injuries. And in our case, injury kind of helped us because it threw another team off their rhythm and it surprised them, and
Hmm.
then we got a win because of it. Um, I know we're a Sixer podcast and we're gonna end up talking about the Sixers, but I just like it's on my head. It's on my head right now. Um, I feel like we shouldn't have played Joel. And as cool as it was in the moment that like he would turn around to his team and say, "I'm back," like as cool as that was, like I feel as though with the you have the lead. The worst case scenario is you guys go back to Philly with the split, which you did your job. You know what I mean? It will give Joel another with 2 3 days of rest, and then
Hmm.
he'll go into Philly, get the award. You know what I mean? And like just have the adrenaline going for that game. And who knows? I feel like um, with that game and how get the difference between game one and game two is game one it was just fast paced and Boston couldn't keep up. Boston
Yeah.
really couldn't keep up, and that's what like lost Boston games against the Hawks. Is because when the Hawks started to speed it up, and now you got Trey getting to the lane, throwing up floaters, and like his float game is so crazy that he could turn a floater into a lob to Clint Capella, and like they're getting points, and within like 10 minutes they're going like a 20-3 run. You know what I mean? And you guys can't score because you're gassed or you're overthinking it, or you're overthinking it to the point where you even create turnovers, like we saw
Yeah.
in the Sixer game where like Brogdon literally threw it to Maxi, and Maxi
Yeah.
got the confusing ass dunk. But like I think once Joel came back in that game too, Joel, I feel like his leaping ability is still there. I think
Yeah.
is like him like using his foot and his like his legs to make his moves, and I think he's like thinking about it, like he's really
Yeah.
thinking about it like a lot, and you saw it like normally Joel he sees 1-on-1 he just takes it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like he's not getting double, he just takes it immediately to where like even if he doesn't necessarily have the shot, he's going to command a double team. Somebody's going to come over. He's going to make the pass, and you didn't really
Yeah.
even see that. Um, and
You
this,
saw it was like with the blocks, it's more reactionary. Like you're
yeah,
just doing it because you see, all right, I got to stop this bucket. Like that's the only thing going through your mind. Whereas when you're on offense, it kind of slows down because you're the one making the decision. So it's like, all right, how am I gonna do this? Is this gonna mess up my knee if I make this move or whatever? And it's like you're getting in your head a lot more.
and it's crazy because like the problem isn't jumping, it's running. Like it's literally
Right.
that's the problem. Like for the majority of the game, like he had 5 blocks in the first half. Like he's
Yeah.
challenging everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a dunk off a drive. Like it looked good, but like he was definitely in his head, and I think that was one of the reasons we lost because like normally when you give the ball to Joel, it slows down the game anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that he's overthinking it, that slows the game down even more. To where it's like they just went on a 5-0 run, and we're over here taking damn near the full 24, and we're not even
Yeah.
getting a shot out of it. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
an easy adjustment. Also, when we did get shots, we weren't making them. We were like
Yeah.
1 for 13 at the half for three, and like
Hmm.
it's a bad sign when PJ is the only person hitting threes. Like that is a bad sign. For
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't even want to score, who doesn't look to score, to be the one
It
breaking it is not good.
it sucks because this is sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Because everything that you just said about how Joel played could happen in game three or could have happened in game three. Like from what I've been hearing, like all morning, all the different people who have talked about the game is like it's really like you're between a rock and a hard place because if you play him in game two, it's kind of a not a meaningless game, but obviously your chances of winning game two are slim to none, regardless of how healthy Joel Embiid is. You
Just
know,
because of
Nick Wright
adjustments
talked
alone. Just because of adjustments
exactly, and
alone.
Nick
Yeah.
Nick Wright talked about it this morning. He was like, "This is now the 15th straight series, playoff series, where the home team, after losing game one, wins game two. It's been 15 series since the home team has lost the two first games. Like that just never happens, regardless of who's on the floor. So you kind of in a situation where it's like, okay, if you know that we're probably not going to win game two, what's the point of playing Joel? But at the same time, everything that you just talked about him sort of being in his head, there's going to be some rust. There's going to be a bit of an adjustment period where him getting back on the floor, you know, whether he's healthy or not, is he's going to be a little off, and he's going to have to take his time and kind of get back. So it's like, would you rather him do that in a kind of throwaway games more or less, or do you want him to have that in a must-win game, which is basically one, if not both, of the games at home? So it's like I would much rather him go into game three with the confidence of knowing like, okay, I made it through one game. I feel fine. Like
Yeah.
I can kind of get back to being myself. And now they've taken the Celtics basically their hardest punch, and it's like, all right, now we can respond. Or would you rather them go into game three and have that uncertainty where it's like, I don't know how he's gonna hold up. He's gonna have a minutes restriction. We don't know how everybody's gonna play with him now being in the lineup because they've had 2 games straight without him. Like it's hard because you'd much rather obviously you want to go into game three as sound and as ready to go as possible, but you also want Joel Embiid to have as much rest as he can get. So, you
trying
know,
to trying to be like an unbiased fan, but obviously it's my team in it, so it's like I have more knowledge of it than like most people who just are unbiased of the situation or not a fan of either team. It kind of feels like literally what you said. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. But like I feel as though that he would have had 3 days off. That would have been at least like 2 days of practice or like one day of practice where he could get acclimated back in the system. I do feel like
maybe. Yeah.
I do feel like game two was it's kind of a sacrifice game in a sense where it
Hmm.
was like we, the Sixers going, we just want Joel to play to get minutes and to like
Yeah.
get ramped up again in a real
Yeah.
situation. And I feel like our chances of winning both games, even though I wanted to, our chances weren't high because Boston is Boston. We
Yeah.
we really surprised the shit out of him. James surprised the hell out of him. Um, Tyrese, and it's like from unbiased. There's much I meant, but from an unbiased situation, it was literally the Sixers are the best 3-point shooting team in the league. We were 1 of 13.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics, and all respect to the Boston Celtics, they won. They won. I'm not taking anything away from it, but they played a perfect game. A perfect game. Even though Jason Tatum only gave you 7 points, they played a perfect game to beat a team that they should have beat. And
Yeah.
I feel as though Doc Rivers, and I hate giving Doc Rivers credit, but I have to give Doc Rivers credit in that first game. He did amazing, like his adjustments, seeing James having the ball, letting Tyrese bring up the ball, letting D'Anthony Melton bring up the ball, and then giving it to James, in their sets. He did a great job with that. And I just think I don't know, Doc has this weird thing where he's better when he doesn't have star players. And it's very weird. Like, he wins more games when he doesn't have star players. The games that you should not win, he fucking ends up winning.
I think the problem with Doc is that I'm not going to say he doesn't hold stars accountable, but I think he's the kind of coach where it's like, if you have a star player, just let them go be a star player. And he kind of like gives them a little bit more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you don't have the star player, it forces him to be more of a actual X's and O's coach, and things that you have to do in order to put the guys who aren't just going to go out there and get buckets regardless, give them a chance to win. But when the stars are out there, it's like, we got Joel Embiid. Of course we're going to just give him the ball. And that was the one thing that I didn't really like.
I didn't understand
about
that either.
Doc. Yeah, I didn't like Doc's post-game press conference where he was like, yeah, Joel was deferring. We don't really want him to do that. But it's like, you kind of do, though, at the same time, because you want him to just get his legs under him. You don't want him to go out and try to score 50. Like, you want him to just exactly.
Oh
like,
shit, Joel's back.
You kind of
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oh, Joel's back. Let's just run the same way we used to. It's like, no, you can't do that. He's not. He can't do that right now. And to be fair, like, Joel had a pretty good game for what he could give you in 26 minutes, 15 points, 5 blocks. Like, he didn't get a lot of rebounds, but at the same time, it's like, look, yeah, like you expected that.
Him not to want to.
So,
like, me and Sean, we talked about this at work. I was like, I expect him to take a lot of jump shots. I don't expect him to get to the rim like that. I don't think his rebounds are going to be high, but I do expect his rim protection to be back there. Like, legit, Boston was really trying him. They were really trying.
Yeah.
Okay, he's injured. Let's go at him. Let's go at him.
Yep.
And it's kind of crazy because, like, them kept trying him, and, like, we kept staying in the game. I think we were down only 8 going into the second half, and then they were like, all right, fuck it, we can't do it. Let's start shooting threes, and that shit actually killed us when they started switching and hitting threes.
Specifically, Jaylen Brown. Let's start shooting threes.
Dude turned into like J.R. Smith, where it's like, oh no, oh yeah, like that. I'm pretty sure Celtics fans was like, what the fuck is the okay? like what is he? Because he's like pulling, and he caught fire, and then they needed him, and it's crazy. Like I said this at work. Jaylen Brown scares me more than Jason Tatum. Like, I don't know what it is about him. He just does. And then, I don't know, D'Anthony Melton, I got to give him praise because every time we play Jason Tatum, obviously he doesn't start, so he did not own him from the start. But, like, he just gets in him and just interrupts his shit. And I feel like a lot of people are talking about Embiid and talking about James Harden, but, like...
I'm sorry, stop. Stop. I'm so sorry. I tried so hard to be mature and get past this, but you literally just said he gets in him and interrupts his shit.
I didn't mean.
I'm sorry. Continue with your thought.
I can't. I don't even know.
It was so seamless. It felt like it was on purpose, but I knew it wasn't, so I had to just let you know what you said. Because it didn't seem like you heard it.
He can't shit right no more.
He gets in him and interrupts his shit.
Yeah, he interrupts his shit, you know? I don't know what to say no more. I lost my train of thought. But Yeah.
You were saying Jason Tatum and DeAnthony Melton.
Oh yeah, D'Anthony Melton plays him very well, like very,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
well. He really interrupts his shit, and
But yeah,
you know, if I give D'Anthony Melton a name, I would call him the plunger. You know what I mean? Because
oh god,
he's in there
we're
and he
taking
breaks
this
up
too
his
far.
shit. You know, D'Anthony Melton new nickname is the plunger. Yep, you heard it here first. He's the plunger.
Okay, okay.
But
So to go back to your original point, the thing about Jason Tatum is that sometimes I think he's a little bit too passive.
mhm.
Here's the thing. Remember last year when we were talking about the Celtics possibly moving Jaylen Brown, right? This was
Mhm.
before they made it to the finals.
This is
But this
before they
was
won
like
their run. Remember,
right
they was
because
tied. They were damn near at 500.
yeah. So actually, it might have been even before that. I think this was a while ago, but it was at one point where Nick Vucevic was still in the Magic,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this was before Al Horford got
Oh
back
yeah,
to the Celtics.
we were talking about getting
And I was
Vucevic to
talking
come there.
about a possible Jaylen Brown for Nick Vucevic trade.
Did I say that was
The
stupid?
reason why I always felt like they probably wouldn't work together is because Jaylen Brown, honestly, is way more aggressive than Jason Tatum.
100%.
And I think some of the frustration that he's had, specifically with like the organization, the Celtics, and some at some point with like the fans,
Mm-hmm.
is that everybody loves Jason Tatum and everybody praises Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown could do what Jason Tatum does.
I do. I believe that as well. I believe it.
But
I believe
but
it.
he just doesn't because in his mind he keeps being told there can only be one guy. So it's like he's going to defer. In last game we saw Jason Tatum was the scorer and they lost.
Mm-hmm.
So now Jason Tatum's not really knocking down his shots and Jaylen Brown's just like, "All right, fuck it. I'm going to just go off." Like he's just way more he shoots shots that Jason Tatum would not shoot.
Just say it. You gotta just say it. Jason Tatum plays light skin.
I really didn't want to say it, but I was thinking that.
He plays light skin.
I was thinking that, and I was going to bring it up a little bit when I talked about the Boston fans
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and their feelings towards the two of them and the difference, but I didn't want to because it felt like I don't know enough about Boston or the situation to
This is my situation,
project
right?
there, but
We always get called the worst fan base, but the best player in your fucking franchise's history had a private jersey retirement ceremony because he didn't really fuck with y'all. Like Bill Russell had a
Yeah.
private jersey retirement because he didn't
Yeah.
like he didn't have a great relation with the Celtics fans. And obviously, that was a different time. It was a way different time, but like you
But it
kind of
still
see
happened.
the similarities.
And look
still
at Donovan
happening
Mitchell.
now. Yeah, fucking Utah. Like I did, but Utah is also like kind of very much known as one of the worst places to play in terms of fan
Well,
interactions.
But the fact that that's still a thing, and yet somehow the Sixers or the Philadelphia sports fans are like labeled the worst, and yet everybody knows about Utah. Like, how can that possibly just? How are we number one when everybody knows what they're saying over there, what they're doing over there?
You know why we're number one?
Like the fact that Donovan Mitchell was so like relieved, like the fact that he kind of, and he didn't even say it. He couldn't even say it until he got to Cleveland. He was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty glad I'm here." Like, it feels better. He's just more comfortable. Like the fact that he had to get to Cleveland to be able to say that is like crazy. That should let you know right then and there how he felt about playing in Utah. Even though he had, and to be fair, this Sixers, Philadelphia sports teams have had players who are like, "Yeah, I'm glad I'm out of there," but that's because they were trash.
for real, let's be honest.
Like
Bro,
that's because
this is why
they literally weren't producing.
We get the worst rep. Philadelphia sports fans get the worst rep because we don't like bullshit. We don't like it. We don't. If you're
Right.
not giving it 110%, we don't. We're going to let you know. When you on listen, bro, TJ McConnell TJ McConnell is not a star player.
Right.
He's not a starter on most teams. TJ McConnell, every time he comes back to the Wells Fargo, gets a fucking standing ovation because TJ never took
Yep.
shortcuts. He went through. He played hard.
TJ McConnell,
Fucking JJ Redick gets
TJ
standing
McConnell,
ovation.
Drew Holiday,
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy.
Yep. It's a list. It's a long list.
Jeremy. Yeah. But the other guys, yeah.
Jeremy Grant doesn't get standing ovations, but
Well,
people fuck with him though.
they could fuck with him, but he not TJ. He not TJ.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he ain't had no game winners over Carmelo Anthony.
You know, TJ, people talk about how Dame broke up the Thunder. They don't talk about how TJ broke up the Knicks a lot. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about it, man.
Hey, man.
They don't talk about it.
It happened. It's a real thing.
TJ destroyed the Knicks.
I don't know.
Kristaps didn't want to play no more.
I mean,
Melo wanted
I
out.
do understand. I do understand.
But
yeah, I understand why we get such a bad rep. But at the same time, there's other fan bases that are doing just as much, if not worse, than we are.
if you don't like it, suck our dick. We don't care. Like, this is legit our thing. We know that no one
Yeah.
likes us, and we don't fucking care. If you're gonna come in here, you're gonna play fucking hard. That's why I like guys like PJ Tucker. Amazing fit for Philly. Amazing
Yeah.
fit. Because he's going to literally take the energy of the crowd, energy of Philadelphia, and bring it into that locker room. Like you saw, I showed you the thing with Paul Reed. Like that.
With,
That's
yeah.
that's what we do. That's literally what we do.
Philadelphia fans only ask for two things. Sometimes one of two things. A, give it 110%. B, be fucking honest.
Facts.
That's it. Be honest. Because when we went into the fucking process years, Sam Hinkie was honest. He was like, hey, man, we're not going to be good. We're not going to be good. We're not going to win a lot of games, but it'll be worth it in the end. Trust me. And we were like, cool. Got it.
You got it.
Like, there was no... Stephen A. Smith was more upset about the process than we were.
And we're like,
And
bro,
that motherfucker
shut
don't
up.
even live here no more.
We're like, bro, shut up. It's not about you. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
Like,
about
bro,
you,
chill.
bro. Like,
We
we
just mad because
understood-
you wish the Knicks would do it.
Right. And it's crazy how, like, we rebuilt it for what? How many years? What, 5?
Like
And-
5, yeah.
And then we still ended up better than y'all.
Exactly.
Didn't we
Because
make
it fucking worked.
didn't we make the playoffs before them? Then we both we were missing the playoffs at the same time.
Yep.
And it's crazy because we talked about the Phoenix Suns, we talked about the Sacramento Kings, and this was Boogie's Kings, where like they
Yeah.
were trying to win, we were trying to lose, and we still ended up in the playoffs before them.
Even Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's, obviously, they've had LaMelo, but at the same time, it's like, but you just going to build your team around just LaMelo? Like, you need more guys. Like, trade, like, you got young pieces that other teams will be happy to have. Trade them for draft picks.
And you
Like,
got
you
some
need
older,
more guys.
You got some older vets that a lot of team will want Kelly Oubre, a team will want Terry Rozier, a team will want Gordon
Yeah.
Hayward. Like, come
Yeah.
on, like, bro, like, obviously Gordon Hayward, you probably will have to trade some extra stuff because he's an older guy on a bigger contract. Cool. But a team's going to trade for Terry Rozier. I don't know why, but every time I think of Terry Rozier, I just think he's going to end up on the Clippers. I don't know why. I don't.
He seems like a Clippers
He
guy.
just seems like one of those guys that
He
like,
seems like a Clippers guy.
it's cool.
You know,
about-
I mean, Marcus Smart kind of does too.
You know what's crazy, bro? I don't know why I just randomly remember this, but Marcus Smart was supposed to sign with the Nets, and then the Celtics matched the offer. He was supposed to
Yeah.
sign with the Nets a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
Before I guess he
Yep.
got this contract, but I don't know, just random ass Marquise fact.
So let's take a look at across the league really quick. So right now, Heat and Knicks are tied. They're 1-1. Celtics and Sixers are 1-1. Lakers and Warriors, they play game 2 tonight. Lakers won game 1. Very, very close game. I expect the Warriors to win that.
I won't put this in as we're
ahead.
recording this. By the time you guys hear it, it's going to be the next day. So the Pearson, one of the teams will have already won. So that's why
Yeah.
we're not talking about it. So
Right.
one of the teams will have already won. So this is
Right.
before the game.
And then tomorrow is game 3 of Nuggets Suns. Nuggets lead 2-0.
I,
Um Obviously Chris Paul ended up leaving game 2. That's huge. That's huge. That might be the series.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't
I mean
because
it you still got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton. Like they still have talent, but at the same time their depth after the KD trade is it's not
listen,
what it once was. And losing Chris Paul now, I don't
Kevin
know.
Kevin Durant is due for I'm fucking Kevin Durant 2 I'm fucking Kevin Durant games. He's due for it. He's due for it.
But they're
Two.
down 2-0.
I feel like I'm be honest with you. I think the Suns tie the series at home. I
Okay.
don't know if they win the series, but I know I have like it's just one of those feelings where like Kevin Durant ain't. Hey, book, you've been doing cool, but like let me show you how it's done type shit. Like I
My
don't.
thing is, I believe you and I agree with you. I think Kevin Durant is due for at least 2 of those games. The problem is they're down 0-2. So it's like if you even get that all that does is even it up. So and then not only that, it evens it up going back to Denver, where
I,
Denver's now at home for another, game.
but if
Like,
but after I really just feel like it. But once you win those 2 games, the pressure's on Denver. Like the pressure, like
yeah,
look, like think about it. You took home court, but you gave it right back. They took their home court too, so now it's on you guys because now once it's 2-2, the team who wins the next game has the advantage
yeah.
to put it away. Like the Sixers,
But that team is Denver. Like they're at home.
yeah, and it's kind of I don't want to go back to the Sixers, but like kind of going back to them, even though the Sixers got blown out in Game 2, the pressure's still on Boston because they
Yeah,
lost that shit.
yeah,
Like obviously it's not the way you wanted to win, not the way you wanted to lose. If you're going to lose, you want it to be a tight game where like down the stretch we just couldn't figure it out or something like that. You didn't want to get
yeah,
blown out, but at the end of the day, we did what we were supposed to do.
yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
and I want to comment on something really really quick that I found. I didn't realize it at first, but it was brought to my attention this morning. Because the Bucks got upset by the Heat between the Sixers and the Celtics, whoever wins this series has home court for the rest of the postseason.
For the rest of the
Because
postseason,
both the Celtics and the Sixers had better records than the Nuggets.
yeah,
So whoever wins this series has home court advantage for the rest of the season, the rest of the playoffs, the rest of the
that's why
finals, everything.
that's why I said this is the run. This right
Yeah.
here is the this is like probably one of the last times where like everything like this, we just got to get through this one. Just got to get through this one team. Obviously,
Yep.
the team that comes out the other side, you still have to worry about, but it's like to a lesser degree. And it's crazy because once you beat Boston, next team you play is not as good, and
As Boston,
never
right.
it's never like that. It's
It's never
always
that way.
once you get through there, you can fucking sweep the next team. Like that is the
Yeah.
craziest part about it. Obviously, I don't
Yep.
see that happening, but like in the like you realistically thinking, both of these teams should not have should not be here. We did not expect neither of those teams to be there.
Yep. Knicks were
I thought
the 5.
yeah, I thought Cavs were going to win that because they had more talent. The
Yeah.
Bucks, we all know the Bucks collapsed, and they just fired Mike Budenholzer
Yep.
probably like 10 minutes before we started recording. Um,
Yeah. Which we knew
yeah, we knew it
was
was
going to
coming.
happen.
I told you. I said he should have got fired after we recorded last podcast because
Yeah.
he was fucking stupid. He pulled some real Brett Brown shit. He did, bro. He was saving timeouts. Fuck you and save that out. Save timeouts for the next game. Like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a question for you. And this isn't exactly related to the playoffs specifically, but there in the over the course of like basketball history or whatever, there have been teams that have historically been competitive regardless of whether they won championships or not. And for the most part, those teams all have the same thing in common, which is that they have one old school guy who's cool and new players love them. The Warriors had Jerry West, then Jerry West went to the Clippers. The Heat have Pat Riley. Like the like who's that for the Sixers?
It was Michael Rubin. Um, but I mean, I feel like Darren Murray is cool. He's not
I mean, like a
the
basketball guy.
hmm,
Cause see, I feel like it should be Elton Brand, but
Yeah,
Elton Brand, I don't know. He just doesn't. He's not present enough for me.
yeah.
Like
I
when Jerry West with the Warriors, like you saw him all the time. When he was
and
with the Clippers, like you saw him all the
it's
time. You see
crazy.
Pat Riley all the time.
You crazy because you forget Elton Brand is the actual general manager.
Exactly.
Like he's still
Like
the
I don't. I
general
feel like
manager.
you just don't see him.
But I mean, I've seen him like kind of like when the Sixers do like the little post game, like when they're walking
Yeah.
through the tunnel and they're talking to the guys, like you see him there. So like
Yeah.
obviously he's present more than we know. Obviously, because we're not inside the we're not inside the locker room and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know.
You,
I don't
you
think
just wonder how much of an impact he has.
yeah. But I also
Because
feel
like
like
Jerry West impact was felt. Even Danny
do
Ainge with the
you
Celtics.
do
Like
you
Danny Ainge, like he was his presence was felt always. Even Daryl Morey. Sometimes I forget about Daryl Morey.
I feel as though we kind of have obviously they have like like you said Miami has Pat Riley. They also have UD who's like on the team, and I think
Yeah,
for that's PJ Tucker for us. I feel like
yeah.
that's
Spurs with Popovich.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like I think PJ Tucker is that guy, and I feel like as he gets older, he's going to become more of that UD as he becomes unfortunately unplayable as age
Fine with that.
as age catches up to him, and he's like really the the extension of the coaching staff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean in the uniform.
I'm fine with that.
And I no, that's like honestly when you sign him to this contract, like that's what you like. That's what I thought. Like
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
That's why
Even
That's why you did that.
like he probably got this year, next year, and then I'm thinking like the last year is probably not going to be great for him,
Yeah.
just because he's going to be 40. You know what I mean? And
I would love for PJ. See, PJ's one of the few players that's still on the team that I feel this way about. Because I felt this way about JJ. I felt it about wow, TJ, all the fucking J's. Um, and Elton when he was playing. But PJ's one of those guys who I feel like once he's done playing, I would love for him to have some type of position within the
like
organization.
player development or like
Yeah, something like that. Because this like his story, like his resilience, like his journey to the NBA, then having to leave the NBA, then coming back and like getting another opportunity, fighting to stay on rosters, and then just kind of like finding his niche, like
to
within the league.
the fact that every
I
team
feel
wanted
like
him. Yeah, like every team
right,
wants a PJ Tucker.
exactly. I feel like his story, his mentality. I feel like that's something that younger players really like need. It's something that teams like Houston
Hundred
are
percent.
suffering without. Teams like Charlotte are kind of suffering without. Um, and yeah, I mean, even if he's not playing necessarily, I still think having him involved in some sort of way within the organization would be huge. It's tough because like, and this is one of the few areas where I tend to agree with Stephen A. Smith. It's weird that Allen Iverson isn't involved in some way in with the 76ers. It's weird that Larry Brown isn't involved in some way with the 76ers. Like
It,
Tim Duncan still comes back and helps out with the Spurs.
yeah, because you can you imagine free agency hits 12 o'clock and you get a knock on the door and it's fucking AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's fucking AI. He got his chains on. The motherfucker just walks in your house, sit down.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we need
And nobody can tell you how to succeed in Philly better than AI.
you. You listen. You get a little staff of AI. You got your star Joel Embiid. You go into people's houses. You just
Daryl Morey, AI, and Elton Brand walk into your apartment. I'm signing wherever you want.
no. You
Just
got
tell me
you
where
got
to go.
you got. I mean, cause you even see now I'm thinking about like who like is still around. Dr. J. Dr. J is around the Sixers.
Yeah,
He's around the
yeah.
Sixers. So
He can't do it because he's in the media, but I would even say Charles, because Charles fucking loves Philly.
it's kind of crazy because he didn't really like it that much when he was here.
Well, it wasn't that he didn't like the city. He was just having trouble because not having trouble. He was angry because the organization wasn't really providing the help that he needed. Like when he got there, all the stars that were there were
We're
old.
old, yeah.
So he was like,
Because it's
I'm the
crazy.
only guy here who's gonna be here for a while. So
Because
like we need players,
they was coming up.
and they just never got them.
They was coming off that championship. That's why they was like kind of, you know what I mean, the championship hangover, so to speak, where you try to keep everything intact as much as you can, but like
What'd you say?
normally, championship
Yeah,
hangover, where like
right.
you mostly see it in the NFL where like they try to bring in most of the people, or it's you guys just won a championship, so all your guys just kind of got paid. So whereas
Yeah,
like we still got the core guys together, but like it doesn't work
yeah,
because either guys are older now or you the lost guys, so you gotta get acquainted with new guys. So like, I feel like that's kind of what happened, and it kind
yeah,
of what I mean. And then you had the fact that he was coming
yeah.
off the
And the
bench,
league
like
changes. Like you
yeah,
got Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird. Like I mean, Larry was there before, but still, like he was younger than Dr. J and Moses Malone. So it's like you got other teams now that are starting to ascend. You need new guys.
and apparently the Sixers tried to trade for Michael Jordan on draft night,
Really? I mean, that makes sense. I think a lot of teams probably did.
and it's crazy because like it wasn't like he was the first pick, he was the third one, like you know what I mean. And normally
Well, if you think about it,
you talk about need, I guess.
that's not it's need, and it's also the times, because remember prior to that like those years, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, honestly, I don't even know if I should include them, but prior to those years, bigs were like the league. Like bigs ran the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the most part, even the Sixers didn't win until they got Moses Malone, and Moses Malone was like back-to-back MVP. Dr. J was great, but Moses was that dude. So like bigs pretty much ran the league. So it wasn't super surprising that the two teams that picked ahead of Chicago picked two bigs.
No,
You know what I mean? Even with Magic and Larry, like Larry was really like Larry was really a power forward.
yeah.
Like everybody who talks about Larry says this motherfucker was 6'10". I don't care what he was listed at. This motherfucker was 6'10". And the same thing goes for Magic. Everybody says Magic was 6'9". Like I don't care what he was listed at. Magic Johnson was 6'9". Magic Johnson was taller than Charles, and Charles was an actual power forward. So even though they weren't bigs, they were still bigger guys.
Charles Barkley
So
was
like
he was small ball before small ball was really a thing.
exactly. So with Mike, it's like, yeah, he's great, but bigs were still kind of the thing. So it made sense. And Hakeem Olajuwon, to be fair, had he been drafted into a different situation, we might be talking about him as the GOAT, not Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Michael really I don't want to say got lucky, because obviously for the first 8 years of his career, he didn't win shit.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they got Scotty, they got, Horace Grant, they got the right coach in Phil Jackson. So things worked out. They got the perfect guy to pair with their guy and the perfect coach to coach both of them, and they managed to get other really great role players along the way. Whereas with Hakeem, it's like he didn't really have too many star teammates, especially not guys who could be the MVP of the league if he decided to go play baseball.
Yeah.
So like Scotty was like, if Scotty was on a different team, he might have been regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. Like he might be up there with LeBron. Scotty was kind of LeBron before LeBron.
And it's kind of crazy because Scotty's still like top 50, and it's like
Yeah,
here's like
exactly.
what he could have been, and obviously how much.
Top 50 as a number 2 option.
Yeah, like literally when people talk about like two guys, they go Batman, Robin, and then they go Jordan, Pippen. Like that's
Yeah,
you know what I mean when you talk about a dynamic duo, like
yeah.
they are the fucking blueprint
Yep.
of it. Have a guy.
So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's obviously the Sam Bowie thing was a miss, but even then, that was because of injuries.
Yeah.
Like we never really got to see what Sam Bowie could have done. Same thing with Greg Oden and Kevin Durant. Like people are like, oh, how could somebody pick anybody before Kevin Durant?
No,
It was like,
that
whoa,
motherfucker looked like the second coming of Shaq. Like
exactly. It's like you don't understand. Like drafting's not easy. Guys look really good coming out of college, and teams have certain needs. So it's like, I I'm not a even Melo. Like like I don't know what the fuck Darko Milicic was doing prior to the draft.
Facts.
He might have looked like the second coming of Dirk. Like who knows? Or not Dirk, but maybe Tim Duncan because Dirk wasn't really in like his prime yet.
Damn, I gotta look out. How many years did Sam Bowie play?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Damn.
Because I have to remember Dirk was only in the league for 5 years when Melo and LeBron and them got drafted.
You said what?
I said I was about to say they thought Darko Milicic was going to be the next Dirk, but I forgot Dirk wasn't really in his prime yet. He was only in the league for 5 years
Oh yeah.
when LeBron and Melo and them all got drafted.
All right.
But even then, like Carmelo Anthony, like how could somebody pick him after Darko Milicic? It's like, well, just look at the Pistons and their roster and what they had going into that draft. They didn't necessarily need another forward; they needed a big.
Damn. All right. Let's go to did we touch on Miami, New York? Like, did we go like in depth on it?
Not really, no.
All right. Well, obviously, game one, Jimmy. This is kind of what I kind of predicted. This is why I picked the Knicks in 6. Ryman accidentally. I picked them because I saw this. I kind of foresaw like not necessarily a Jimmy injury,
Yeah.
but I did expect Jimmy to run out of energy. I had those like both of those words because I was about to say it, but like they kind of just combined.
Yeah.
Like I saw this. Like I saw like my visions of him in the bubble where like he's gassed. Like
Yeah.
he did so much to get them here, and it's like, where the fuck is Bam? Like where is he? Like have you heard of him? Like where? Like you know what I mean? He needs some help.
And I'll give a little bit of credit to Bam because he did take responsibility. He was like, "This is my fault," but that doesn't mean anything unless you make changes.
Bro, when Kyle Lowry is your second best player, you got a
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, you got a problem. This man was literally coming off the bench, you know, in the regular season because he couldn't stay healthy and because he couldn't find his shot. And here we are, he's the second best player. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't have Tyler Hero. This should be for every reason. Like he literally Bam has every reason to one get the ball more and then two do something with it. He has the skill and I don't understand why like I don't know. I'm not going to say it's Ben Simmons like he has a Ben Simmons mentality, but like it's kind of like he gets the ball and he's just like waiting for someone to like tell him what to do
Yeah.
or he's getting the ball and he's immediately like one time he gets the ball it's like to run a play like that there's never a time where it's like bam hey the play is broken go get a basket
Yeah.
he just like stands there and just gives it to Jimmy or like have them reset and it's like bro you're way more talented than that.
I think it is. I think it is similar to the Ben Simmons thing, but I think the difference is Ben had it and lost it. I don't know when Bam had it. Like I know he had that one year where he was like an all star, but even then, that was one of those all stars where it's like, hey, your team is doing amazing, and you're a huge part of it.
Right, y'all
So
deserve
we feel
more.
like you deserve this because of that. Like you're the second best player on the really, really great team.
And your star player's injured so here.
Exactly. So it's like it's kind of like you remember the year that Atlanta had like 4 all-stars?
Mhm.
It was like
Didn't
Al
they all
Horford, Al Horford,
Jeff Teague, Kyle
Jeff
Korver,
Teague,
and
Kyle Korver, and Paul
Paul
Millsap.
Millsap, yeah.
Like really, honestly, only 2 of them probably deserve to be all-stars. Like
Yeah,
Kyle Korver did not need to be an all-star.
Jeff Teague did not need to be an All Star.
Yeah, like
Really, Paul Millsap and Al Horford were the
yeah, but they were the number 1 team in the league. They won 60 games.
they were
So it's like
number one team in the NBA.
right. So it's like there has to be some reward for that. No, they were.
No, they I remember them all winning Player of the Month. Like it was
At
the
different
starting,
points. Yeah.
No, their starting five won Player of the Month.
Stupid.
It that yes, I remember that. Like no, wait,
Yeah.
let me look this shit up. Like their starting five won Player of the Month, and I was like, how?
Yeah. But, it's just one of those things where, like, I don't know. I don't know if Bam was ever really. I don't want to say he didn't deserve it, but at the same time, there were probably other guys who are more fitting of that title. Not necessarily that they were having better years, but just the mindset of like a guy, like the guy. You know what I mean? Like there were other people who probably fit that description a little bit more than Bam Adebayo, and I think now we're at a point where he's and like I said, Ben Simmons had it and lost it. Like we saw early in Ben's career, we saw even in summer league where like if the play was broken, fuck it, I'm gonna just go score.
Right.
But with Bam, it's like I don't know if he's ever Damari Carroll. I forgot about that.
Damari Carroll, bro. He's
It's
on the Bucks coaching staff now.
yeah, no.
Right.
But with Bam, it's like he's never had the ball at the end of a broken play. It's always been either Jimmy or Tyler.
Yeah, and it's like I think that's the next evolution in his game, and maybe just maybe he has to be, I guess, traded. Like he has to find a new scenery to like forget the system, to forget like to get out of that mindset. Maybe this works for him. Like and like there was a report that says like Bam Adebayo trade is like not off the market. And
Well, I don't even know if he needs to be traded. I don't think. I think the problem is they don't. Do they actually have any plays for him?
hopefully he's,
Or,
you know how
like I feel like they don't have any plays for Bam. They have plays where Bam ends up with the ball. Like there's a lot of cutting and passing, and then boom, Bam's at the rim throwing the oop, or something like that, or Bam's in the dunker spot or whatever. But do they have plays where it's like, all right, we're gonna get this switch that we want, get Bam the ball in isolation, maybe somebody set him a pick or something like that. Like, do they have any actual plays for Bam?
and it's crazy. The crazy thing is, right? I think Joel has the best handles for a big man, but like Bam, big handles are right there or even better than Joel's.
Well, see, but the thing is, though, you got to remember Bam's like 6'9",
But still,
Joel's 7'2", so it's like it's a little bit different.
but
Like Joel handling the ball is a little bit more impressive, just because you don't see guys that tall, that big handling the ball that way. Whereas Bam's like he's like 6'9", 6'10".
yeah, 6'9".
So it's like, I mean, he's an inch taller than LeBron.
No, they're the same height.
Really? LeBron's listed at 6'9"? I always thought he was at 6'8".
No, when they did, you remember how they did like the legit measuring shit?
Oh yeah.
LeBron 6'9".
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So like Paul George, like there's a lot of 6'9" guys who can handle it. There's a lot of guys who are 6'9", because remember 6'9" used to be like that tweener range,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like you were too short for a power forward, but you were too tall to be like small forward, and you were kind of like in between. But now tweeners are like the thing that everybody wants. So, Bam is definitely one of those guys where if this was still like, 2008, 2009, they'd be like, "What the fuck do we do with you?"
What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
So
like Giannis.
for this playoff series, not the series, but the playoffs, he's averaging 17 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas,
Not enough.
yeah, it's not enough at all. And he's shooting what from the field? 47% from the field. It's kind of crazy when you don't shoot threes.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like, and he was
When
supposed to.
when you don't shoot threes and you're a big, so like you should be able to shoot over most of the people you come across. And you're athletic as fuck. Like,
I don't understand it, bro. Like he could be literally. He should be the third big man when we talk about like the centers.
yeah.
He should be that guy.
Well, I don't know. There's a couple guys who I think should be that guy.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, it probably should be Cat, but like he
or even Aiden.
no.
Listen, when in terms of skill set, Aiden can't handle the ball like Cat or Bam,
I don't
but
think
he can
think
shoot
Cat
fairly.
handle the ball. I don't think he
Huh?
can, and
Who?
I feel like that's one of his problems. Cat,
Who? Cat?
yes,
Well, Aiden and Cat are probably on par with each other. Cat's probably a better shooter, but Aiden is probably a better post scorer.
mm-hmm.
So I think Aiden should be up there at least with Cat and Bam. Aiden's definitely more aggressive.
100%. That's kind of crazy when you say Aiton's more aggressive when
He
he's
he is. He is.
really on par with like what? Like
Bam.
no, I mean just like in general, like if Aiton's the most aggressive out of those
I don't
three.
think he's the most aggressive. I think Cat is probably the most aggressive, but at the same time, Cat's used to being the guy.
But we're talking about guys and who are not who have we now see aren't the guy they were supposed to
Yeah,
be. Like
yeah,
Cat, it took us what 10 damn near fucking 9 8 years for him to realize like he should not be the number one.
yeah.
DeAndre
I
Ayton off rip was never going to be the number one.
but see the thing is though, and this is one of those things. And we go back to drafting, right? Like when we are talking about like how the hell did Jordan get drafted third? You got to remember DeAndre Ayton was drafted 2 spots ahead of Luka Doncic and Trey Young. So it's like DeAndre Ayton was the number one pick in a draft that had Luka Doncic and Trey Young in it, and more. But like people are gonna look back at that crazy the same way, we look back at like Sam Bowie going before Michael Jordan. But the difference is DeAndre Ayton has been to a finals.
Yeah.
That's because DeAndre Ayton was picked by a team that knew what the fuck they needed. So it's like it's kind of tough when you look at guys like Sam Bowie and Greg Oden, because it's like if they had played and they have like worked out the way that they were supposed to, they would have been exactly what their teams needed at the time, and they might have won before Mike.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
'Cause then
tough to judge. It's tough to judge DeAndre Ayton because he came into the league as a number two.
yeah.
Like he was never the number one guy. Cat came into the league as the number one guy.
Build around Cat.
Yeah, like when Cat came in, it was already set in stone. Like, okay, Andrew Wiggins isn't what we thought he was gonna be.
And the crazy
Like he
thing
was only there for like a year, but at the same time, it was just like, we're not seeing what we thought we were gonna see. He's not the next LeBron.
but the best thing that the Timberwolves have found is that like Anthony Edwards is the number one. Like
Yeah,
he's the number one. And it's so weird because like they're kind of stuck in this place where like I said last podcast, they might be in that Luka Doncic situation, whereas though your best bet is to trade your other star to get
yeah,
back the shit that you traded. Like they're like obviously next year they're gonna let it play out, but after next year, you got like and nothing has improved. You're
yeah,
still fighting for play-in. Even if you do get in the play-in, or even if you do get in the playoffs from the play-in, that's not good enough. It's
yeah,
not good enough for everything that you have pushed and put into this team. It's just not good enough. And Anthony Edwards, like, you got to get some back. You got to get some of that stuff back.
yeah. Where
And
does Cat go? Where's a good fit for Cat?
who who needs a center on a team that
Slash power
actually
forward.
no God, he has to be a center. He cannot guard power forwards at all. Oh my God, it's terrible. Um, who needs a center? A team that's trying to compete that needs a center. Who needs spacing? A spacing center. Oh man, I gotta look at the teams. I have to look at the teams though.
This might sound weird because
Pacers.
I know they have a guy right now who they like, but I kind of think Boston.
See,
Like, I can't really think of anybody who'd be better for Cat to learn from than Al Horford.
I would throw in the Mavericks, but Mavericks have nothing to trade. Um,
Right.
but I would
Also, the Mavericks suck defensively, and Cat isn't doesn't gonna help that at all.
yeah. I'm gonna go with the New York Knicks because the Knicks have a whole bunch of picks that they could
Mm,
trade. They have a shit ton of picks
yeah,
because they were trading their picks away because they didn't like who was in the draft. I would go to Knicks because the Knicks need a center that can space out. They already got good defenders around him. I think Mitchell Robinson probably goes in that trade, so they probably don't have that no more. But like the Knicks. They have the stuff to get him, and the Knicks. I don't know like what does that do for the Knicks in terms of like
Right.
is Cat the piece because it seems like a whole bunch of number twos on the
I don't
team.
know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. I don't. I agree. Same sentence. I don't know what that does for the Knicks because Mitchell Robinson, although he's not as good of a scorer, he does supply things that the Knicks need that they're not gonna get from Cat.
What about the Pelicans?
Um,
See, this is the whole thing.
maybe,
Before I even say that,
maybe.
I need to know if I'm investing for a reason with the Pelicans. Because like if I go out there and get Cat and then fucking Zion is still fucking injured, it's like I did that for no reason.
Well, not necessarily, because I mean, at the end of the day, you still have Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. Like the three of them together, even if Zion is out, the three of them together would probably produce more wins than they have, right now with whoever they have playing center right now.
Valanciunas.
Yeah. So I still might pull the trigger on it.
See,
Honestly,
I feel like Valanciunas is better for them than the Cat would be. For the
maybe.
fact that he's like
See, that's the
a
thing.
leader
Cat,
in a way, like he's a leader.
that's the thing. Cat, as of right now, this is gonna sound crazy, but he doesn't do anything that most teams want in the center right now. Like, not to say that he doesn't do anything. I worded that wrong. He can stretch the floor. He can run the floor really well. But as far as like the defense, the rim protection, the lob catching, like he doesn't really supply any of that. So he's really that's why I always he's kind of a power forward offensively. Defense you would put him. Like he's not he doesn't really play good defense anywhere on the floor. Like no matter if you play him at center, he's gonna get eaten alive by other centers. If you play him at power forward, other power forwards are just gonna blow past him.
What if
So it's like he's kind of honestly, Cat is kind of a tweener.
what if Miami and Timberwolves switch out centers
That wouldn't work.
for who?
It wouldn't work for two. It wouldn't work for two reasons. Number one, Cat also has a tendency to be a little passive, and even
Oh,
on the times when he is aggressive, he can still have terrible.
never
He can
mind.
still have terrible games. And on top of that, yeah,
Never mind. That immediately hit me.
yeah,
It immediately hit me.
yeah,
He's like, this
yeah.
motherfucker found
Once you say
me.
passive, yeah,
This motherfucker found me. I tried to get away from this
Yeah.
motherfucker, and he found me.
yeah, that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work.
Orlando maybe.
See,
Orlando maybe. If Orlando doesn't manage to get Victor,
they got Wendell.
that might work. Orlando has hella guards. If you want to trade one of your point guards and maybe a couple future firsts for Cat, they've got draft picks and they've got cap space.
They kind of got Wendell though. I kind of like Wendell for them.
I mean, yeah, but Wendell's another one who can be 4 or 5.
He plays defense.
He does. I would say play them together.
No, you got to trade Wendell.
Why?
If I'm trading Cat, I'm going fucking Wendell. Wendell's a part of that trade.
Oh, okay.
Wendell has to come back. Cause like think about it,
I mean,
he can average what 15 and 10. He plays defense. If he gets switched out to the perimeter, he doesn't look bad. You know what he reminds me of? Al fucking Horford. Wendell Carter reminds me of Al Horford so fucking much.
yeah.
Whereas though
Yeah.
he doesn't do nothing great, he just do everything well. And like
Mm-hmm.
that type of player with like an Anthony Edwards, I think would be cool because like you could switch everything, and he could play
Yeah.
make a little bit. He got a little. You know, what I mean, it's not great. You know, what I mean, he's only averaging 2 assists, but like, you know, I feel as though that could go up.
The only reason why I think Orlando probably wouldn't do it is because they're in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, just like most of the other terrible
Well,
teams in the league are.
luckily for them, luckily for the NBA, that the draft comes before free agency, unlike the NFL where free agency
Yeah,
comes before the draft. Um,
yeah,
so like you would know, and then free agency you would go, all right, well let's do this, let's turn this into this.
exactly.
But Wendell's cool. Wendell's cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah, there's not really. I mean, yeah, maybe the Spurs. That again, that's depending on the draft.
because it's like, why would the Spurs even do that? Like, you know what I mean?
It's depending again. It's depending on the draft.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even then,
Why
the
would they
Spurs
do
would be
that?
giving the Spurs would be giving up. It would probably be similar, more similar to what we did with Al Horford with the Thunder.
Hmm.
We're like, Cat's a serviceable player who can play, but in order for us to take him off your hands and give you these young pieces, we need draft picks.
See, but
And I know Minnesota doesn't have draft picks, but it's like we need we need at least two of them.
because like you look around, Lakers, do they need Cat? No.
No.
Go to State, would they like Cat? Yes, but can they get him? No.
Also, they don't need them. They don't see the thing about Golden State. Golden State is tough because, and it's the same reason why Wiseman didn't work out. The thing that they need from a center
Kevon
is
Looney.
not the thing that makes centers elite. Elite.
They need Kevon Looney. They cool.
Right.
They cool.
They don't need a star at center. They need a role player.
Wait, how is Kevin Looney a free agent this year? Because if he is, he
I don't
about
know.
to get a bag, bro.
The Warriors.
He
The
about to
Warriors
get
don't need a
fucking
star.
bag.
They don't need a star at center. They've always been a perimeter based or perimeter heavy team. They don't need a star at center. They need a role player.
Oh
They
no.
need somebody who's going to get rebounds, catch lobs, get putbacks, and just box out and play great defense.
Yeah,
Like that's why they made JaVale McGee look so good.
yeah. Kevon Looney is nice as fuck, bro.
Like
Like,
the War, think about it. The Warriors literally took JaVale McGee from like NBA obscurity. This man was Mr. Shaqtin' a Fool. And then like 2 years in the Warriors, and he's like
ooh,
the guy. Like he goes to the Lakers, he gets another ring. Like
a team that is trying to get relevant again. The Houston Rockets. They've already
again,
they've
but
already
again, I don't know because they're also in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. So this would have to be after
damn
the
yeah
draft, obviously. But
damn because
that's
like
what they're banking on.
this is what I'm thinking about. They're already talking about packaging Jalen Green to go get a star.
But I wouldn't. But see, that's stupid. I don't know why they would do that.
Because they want to be
If, in
relevant
my
again.
opinion, if I'm the Rockets, I'm not trading Jalen Green. I'm not trading Jabari Smith. I'm not trading Shengun, and I'm not trading Kevin Porter. None of
I
them
would
are
trade
going
Kevin Porter.
anywhere. I'm gonna, huh?
I would trade Kevin Porter. Kevin Porter.
I wouldn't trade any
I
of
would
them
trade.
right now. I would try to give Victor, and I would see what this young core does, and then see who doesn't work and who does.
I'm getting that motherfucker out. Cause like, what does he do?
The worst thing you can do, in my opinion, if you're a rebuilding team, is to draft players that can play but aren't necessarily stars, but they can play and trade them away for old stars.
But sometimes,
Because essentially what you're doing is you're putting young players who have potential in position to maximize that potential when you could have just done it on your own team if you put the right pieces in place next to them, the right coaches, the right veterans. Like if you put the right pieces around them, you could maximize that potential on your own. But instead, you're shipping them away to try and get a finished product that's probably not going to be there for long. Ergo, Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers, we talked about it last time, had one of the best young cores of all time. What did they do? They shipped them all away for old stars. And all those young pieces developed on those other teams into what we now see are actually really serviceable NBA players. And if you were to put them all together now, like we might be talking about that being a potential championship team. If I mean D'Angelo Russell's already back. But if you had those guys, all you would be missing would be one superstar, and you would be a perennial finals team for years. Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, uh, Brooke Lopez, fucking, even though he wasn't a young player, obviously at that point, but uh, Josh Hart,
Mhm.
fucking
Kyle Kuzma.
Alex Caruso.
I don't. Yeah. But like, as I look through all these teams either have a center that they like, or has a center that fits their team. Like
Yeah,
it's look Lakers. I mean, obviously they
Charlotte is the only team I can think of. I mean, I know they like Precious, but I don't know how much they like Precious. But Toronto,
Toronto. Okay. See, but
um,
Toronto. I think Toronto should just blow it up. I don't think it
I
should
do too.
be like trying to like they did that basically this year when they traded for Jakob, who was is a center that they like. So like, you know what I mean? Like literally Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton,
They like him, but at the
Houston,
same time, they like him because they're not doing anything.
Alfred Sengun, Miami, Bam, Sixers. Let's not even talk about it. Dallas Mavericks probably wants him, but they can't get him.
Detroit? What about Detroit?
Detroit does Detroit want to win? Like, is that what they're doing?
Detroit seems like they're still Detroit's still kind of in flux because they're in a rebuild, obviously, but the player they're building around is constantly hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
So Detroit doesn't know what Detroit has
Like
yet for them to even make a decision.
like the Hawks. I'm pretty sure they would rather have Clint Capella because he fits their team. Boston
Exactly.
probably wants him, but Boston has to trade something to get him. Like New York, I'm pretty sure
If
they
If the Hawks make a trade, it's not gonna be for Cat. It would probably be for fucking
Jalen Brown.
no. I was gonna say I was sticking with the Timberwolves, but I was gonna say Gobert.
Hmm. Well, you already got a
The
Clint.
Hawks will probably get more. The Hawks will probably get more use out of Gobert than Cat.
You already got.
Gobert is basically a slightly better Clint Capella.
I don't think he's slightly better. I feel like Clint Capella and him are the same player.
Uh maybe.
And Clint
I don't
Capella
know.
is more athletic.
Defensively, I feel like you maybe get a little bit more from Rudy Gobert.
I just think Clint Capella. Like I never understood what the hype was about Rudy Gobert. I never
Shot
understood it.
blocking.
I never understood it. I never understood it,
Shot blocking. That's
bro.
it.
Bro, legit. Go get Hassan Whiteside. Hassan
Nah.
Whiteside,
See,
Hassan Whiteside,
see,
and Rudy Gobert were the same player, bro.
no. So here's the thing. And this is why Hassan Whiteside is not basically being played anywhere anymore. Hassan Whiteside, if you go back and you look at some of his even some of his best years, he was hunting blocks. Like he was actively seeking out blocks to the point that, and this was eventually his downfall. Once teams kind of caught wind of that, they basically were able to force him into, not even force him, but get him into situations where it seems like he has a block opportunity, and then they would just score around him.
Hmm.
Like he blocked a lot of shots, but he gave up way more shots, especially towards the end of his time with the Heat. Like teams were scoring a lot more on Hassan Whiteside than they were getting blocked.
Yeah, but
Like
like,
they knew he was so block happy that they would bait him into trying to block somebody, and he would ended up fouling a lot.
but you kind of not having like the way of him searching blocks, but the same thing happens with Rudy Gobert, where it's like teams score around him,
Yeah, but
and then they do pick and
but
roll and they force him to guard
I would
perimeter
I
and
would
they
say
go by
this.
him.
It's less of, but see, that's the thing. It's less of them manipulating him and more so them just knowing that he's big and slow.
Rudy,
Whereas with Hassan Whiteside, is you can move him without moving him, if that makes sense. Like
Rudy,
you can bait him over here and then move the ball over there. Like Rudy's just if you get him out on the perimeter or put him in the pick and roll, he's done.
like Rudy Gobert should not be the top 3 players. If he's one of your top
But
3
at the same
players,
time, remember the
he's
Hawks
not.
also still have John Collins.
If Rudy Gobert is one of your
So
top
it's
3
like they
players, you're
have
not going
other
nowhere.
guys.
You're not going nowhere if he's your top 3 player. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Like I love how like low maintenance bigs are coming back, in a sense of like
Yeah.
just block shots, rebound, and set good streams. Like I like that it's coming back a little bit. Obviously, except for like the big two. Um, Everybody else kind of looks like
Well, I would say
displaced.
big three. I don't know why people don't consider Giannis a big. Power forwards are bigs. Am I the only one who doesn't think that?
Well, big
I
two. I
mean, am
mean,
I the only one
well, I said
who thinks that?
centers. I said low maintenance centers.
Oh well, yeah.
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 That's why like Cat
I,
looks like he's displaced now. Bam, everybody's looking at Bam like, hey,
yeah,
bro, you should be this. You should be the fucking god level of this pick and roll, set
yeah,
screens, defense. Because you hit Cat,
yeah,
I mean, because Bam could do something that a lot of bigs can't do, and that's go out. A lot of centers, I should say, can't do, and that's go out there and guard the perimeter and actually guard it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he should be that guy.
Possibly because he's 6'9".
Still, like Clint Capella's like 6'9". You know what I mean? Like
No, he is not. Clint
yes.
Capella is taller than that.
No, he's not, bro.
Now I have to look this up. Clint Capella looks bigger than Bam at least.
It's back out podcasting because we're
He's
both looking at.
listed. He's listed at 6'10".
Hold up, let me see. Let me see. I'm googling. I'm googling right now.
He's listed. He's listed as 6'10". So they're probably. I don't know. I'm sure they're really close. I'm. It's just weird because I don't watch a lot of Heat versus Hawks games, so I've never really seen them stand next to each other.
They virtually look the same height.
But at the same time, it's I don't know. In the games that I've seen Clint Capella in, maybe it's because he's always jumping, huh?
They look the same height. Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. We kind of definitely tailed off from what we were supposed to be doing. Dude, we've been recording for an hour and 11 minutes, and we only talked about 2 series. Wait, Sean? Sean? Damn it. I think we lost him. He's dead. We literally wasted. I mean, not wasted, but like, I think he's about to be back. Boom. Fuck it. It's just me. It's only me.
No, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
No, I was just saying that we've been recording for an hour and 12 minutes, and we only talked about 2 series.
Yeah. Hold on. There we go. All right. Yeah, I noticed that. We keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah,
We keep going on these tangents every time we mention a series.
it's good conversation though. Okay.
We go down the rabbit hole of like the players involved and the coaches and what about this? And
Yeah,
what-
it's good. It's good. It's
We
it's,
go down like the rabbit hole.
it's good. It's good conversation though. So who cares?
Yeah. It's a lot going on. These are good playoff series.
And also we only do the podcast once a week, so it's like there's a lot
Right.
on our
We have a lot to
brain,
cover.
you know what I mean, in that time, and like certain words spark things for us. So like, Phoenix,
I'll be right back.
Phoenix versus the Suns. Sean is going to take a little break here. I'm gonna talk about the Phoenix versus Suns. Yeah. Oh, we did talk about Phoenix versus Suns. We definitely did talk about them. Because I said Kevin Durant is due for 2 big games, and obviously the Nuggets have actually surprised me with their defense. Because like Kevin Durant, like I think last game he shot like 31% from the field, and that's not like Kevin Durant numbers. And obviously these last 2 seasons, I guess we're including this one, have been kind of outliers for Kevin Durant, especially in the first round. Not necessarily the first round this year, but like the second round this year. Whereas like Kevin Durant is having a bad like shooting time. Like last year, the Celtics put that man in Alcatraz, and like he couldn't do nothing. And it's crazy because like the Nuggets are known as defender. They're not known as a team that plays defense, and Kevin Durant is struggling as he is. And then with Chris Paul coming out, it could be scary, but I just think Kevin Durant is going to take over. Like I think it's going to be a moment in the game where no one can score, and Kevin Durant is going to give you bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. Um, I do believe that, and I think we did talk about Knicks Heat a little bit. I think we kind of mentioned that, but like Jimmy's injury played a big part in them losing, obviously, and I do believe that this game is. I think this is going six. I probably go seven. I think this series might go a little bit longer than I expected because like the Knicks, I didn't have this kind of thing where like Jimmy gets injured, so it kind of gives them a game earlier than I saw them winning a game. Um, yeah, I saw them winning a game, especially how it is starting to shift their direction. Even though it's 1-1, but like it's starting, once you win a game, the kind of momentum is kind of on you. But yeah, this might go seven, and it's all up to Jimmy's health. I think it's very much up to Jimmy's health. Even though I did have the Knicks winning the six, I think Miami as a team has shown me something in this this series a little bit more than I expected, because like a lot more people are stepping up. Kevin Love had a good game. Kyle Lowry, Bam, we still want more from, but like they have showed me a little bit more that it's not just going to be Jimmy, but like when it all comes down to it, if Jimmy is not on his like A1 shit, like I don't think they have a chance. And I do think that Jimmy, he has the ankle injury now. How long is that going to hinder him? He did get an ankle injury against the Didn't he got an ankle injury against the Bucks? You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the same ankle or not, but like this could be, something that could be reoccurring and could slow him down. Um, and like that is huge. Jimmy is their energy. He is their life. If that cannot play, that kind of takes a lot away, and it kind of forces Bam to have more on his shoulders. And I just don't think he could do it. Like I honestly don't think Bam could do it. Um, and he hasn't proven it anyway. He hasn't given me any light to that it potentially being there. But maybe Bam could pull out a game out his ass and play hard. I could not tell you that I saw what James Harden did in the game one, and tell you that I saw that happening, or he gave me any type of inkling or any type of like confidence that he could be able to pull that off. And it was very surprising for me for that. So maybe he could, but obviously anything could happen. But I just don't see it. Like just his style of play, I just don't see him being able to dominate, especially with like Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. Julius Randle obviously not a great defender, but is a big body that he would have to get through. Mitchell Robinson is a shot blocker. It just seems like it's not a series for him. So like that's probably like the worst case scenario for Miami is for it to have to come down to Bam Adebayo, because the series is just not for him at all. It's kind of like the kind of how Joel was with Brooklyn, where this series that series he basically had to sacrifice a lot because Brooklyn was constantly doubling him, and he had to alter his game to fit the style of the team. And hopefully I guess the guys hit their shots, and we got out of there in four. But like every game was a battle except for the first game, so you just gotta hope that that Bam could probably pull through that. And I don't know, like I'm really kind of lost for words on if he could. Um, and I think we kind of talked about that. We kind of just waiting for Sean to get back now, because it kind of covered everything. Um, oh, it also said it was a recent report that said Dylan Brooks is the betting favorite for the Miami Heat, and I see that. As much as I don't like it, because I don't want the Heat to get another annoying guy. You know what I mean? They lost PJ Tucker, so I guess he will kind of fill that role in the sense of a tough guy. I say that in air quotes, a tough guy who plays defense and I guess could guard big forwards. and will take on to that. He kind of has a lot of irrational confidence. Um, but I mean, obviously it could be a good fit. I do think if he does sign with the Miami Heat, they're going to like, because like the Miami Heat is a very grit and grind organization, but they're very much about respect and respecting the people that they have, respecting the people that came before you, and respecting their legacy and their culture. So I feel like a guy who hasn't really shown that he can fall in line or show respect to like the greats or show respect in that nature, even though his guys love him, I think it's very weird. It probably would be a very weird situation for him because it just be I don't know. I don't think he could buy into that culture. Sean, are you back?
I am, and it sounds like you're talking about Dylan Brooks.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Um.
I barely caught the end of what you were saying, and I could tell. I was like, this sounds like a Dylan Brooks story.
Oh, so basically, what I was saying.
Are you
Dylan.
reading my text?
I'm reading it right now.
For the people listening who can't see Marquise's face, he's looking down at his phone
Yeah.
and he's trying very hard not to laugh.
Okay. No, what I was saying is Dylan Brooks is the betting favorite, and basically what I was saying is it's like I understand the move to possibly wanting him, obviously replacing the PJ Tucker toughness. I said toughness in air quotes, like
Yeah,
but what my main concern is Miami is very much a grit and grind culture. They have very tough, minded people, um, but they also have great respect and
yeah,
something he has not displayed is respect. And for you to be disrespecting one of the guys Pat Riley brought into his team, really taught how to win, and LeBron James, like you know what I mean, that's not going to fly with
hmm
him. That's not going to fly with UD, who I expect to be on like the coach's staff in somewhat shape or way next year. That's not going to fly with them. Like they
yeah,
like talking shit, but like it's respectful. You know what I mean? Like if they talking shit to you is because you know what I mean. It you know what I mean. You did something. You know what I mean. You one of those guys, or it's like playful, or it's like all in the competitive nature. But like
yeah.
once you pass that line, I think that might you know ruffle some feathers, and I just don't see him as a guy who just like falls in a role. Like
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't say he can't fall in a role. I think he can on the court, but when it comes to like doing that on a team, it's tough. It's tough. He seems like a guy who likes to stand out, which on Miami is not necessarily a huge issue, but it's like you need to know when to fit in,
yeah,
right? It's like you need to know when to shut the hell up. Like it's like there's certain things that and again, I think this is one of those things that I don't know if you watch any of I can't remember. I think it was All the Smoke maybe.
mm-hmm.
John Wall was on the some podcast and he was talking about his time in Houston and he was talking about basically trying his best to be sort of a mentor to Jalen Green and Kevin Porter and he was like, "Look, don't get used to this. Like don't think that this is the NBA life. Like if you were on another team with real vets, like the shit y'all be okay." And I think Memphis kind of has a little bit of that issue with them. Like when all of their best players are so young, and besides Steven Adams, Steven Adams is a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody would agree with that. But at the same time, is he
A vocal
going to
leader.
be that veteran voice in the locker room that young guys probably need? Because it doesn't seem like John Morant
Yeah,
has it. It
who
doesn't like there's a couple teams like that's the problem with drafting guys after the one and dones and then drafting them onto teams that don't have veteran presence. Like we see it in Houston, we see it in Memphis, we see it in Charlotte.
and they
Like
do
there's
have
just
veterans. I just don't think the veterans are the right ones, and I also just don't think that Gordon Hayward is a guy who like I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see.
he's a nice guy.
I see him as a guy who shows up to work and like goes home. Like you like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Cause like
there are
Steven,
certain guys who are like veterans who are on a team that are young and they're just like
we seem to have lost Sean for a little bit. I guess picking up where Sean left off, there is some veterans that there are on teams just to fit the star player versus on the team to lead. Um, yeah, it's very
mm-hmm.
yeah. Cause Sean, you cut out a little bit.
Oh my bad.
Yeah,
You need me to repeat it?
yeah. Repeat it. I just
I
kind of
I
filled
was
in the
gonna say
blanks. Yeah,
there are in every job there are older guys who come in who are there to collect a check. They've been there for maybe a decade, maybe longer, but they're definitely not mentors. They're nice coworkers. They're gonna help you out when they need to, or when they're gonna be able to like provide some information. But you're gonna have to go to them to ask for it. They're not gonna just talk to you. Like not every job has mentors, even though the NBA is definitely one where it's needed. And I think the teams that are building around young guys who are drafting a whole bunch of one and done, 19-year-olds, but don't have those types of veterans on the team, they're doing those players a huge disservice.
100%. And that's
And I think speaking on in Houston specifically with John Wall, they specifically asked him to like get away from the team, which is like
stupid.
he was so shocked. He was like, I can't. I'm not traveling. I'm not practicing. Like I'm not even around those guys. So he was like, I don't know what they are trying to do. I don't know what they want.
To lose. That's what they want. They wanted to lose, and they got it. They got it.
Yeah.
But they need some structure. There needs to be some type of skeleton that is laid down for it to fill in. Like there's nothing there. Like there's nothing. Eric Gordon couldn't wait to get the fuck out of Houston. He could
Yeah.
not fucking wait to get out of there.
Yep.
And it seems like that way because like I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know the guy, but like who else is in Charlotte? Their supposed vets. Terry Rozier, is he a leader? He seems like he's one of the guys that probably might follow them. You know what I mean? Or show them where the best club is.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre. He seems like another guy who might. You know what I mean? So like, there's no real leadership in these locker rooms, and this is one of my points of like why I think the NBA is terrified and won't. It will end up not letting them bring back the straight to the NBA from high school because it's like, damn, these guys have at least had 1 year of college and they still aren't getting their shit together.
Hmm.
Why I'm not giving a 17-year-old fucking $18 million and we can't get this right. Like you know what I mean? And the NBA has instituted in their new CBA that there's veterans, extra roster spots and stuff like that for veterans. Because that's like one of the big things that a lot of veterans, a lot of the guys, like a guy like a Jarrett Jack, like who is a random player to anybody who isn't like a fan of
Hmm.
basketball, but he's a guy whereas though he used to get on people.
Yeah.
He was Draymond and Clay's vet when they was in Golden State. Like a guy
Yeah.
like that, who's not even a name, that a lot of people even remember. A lot of people might even have to Google him. People might just know his face, don't even know his name. But like
Yeah.
a guy like that goes a long way for a franchise. Ish Smith, a DeAndre Jordan, like
Yeah.
a Jared Dudley, like those guys who have been there and been in the league a long time don't probably have the respect of like the fans or media and stuff like that, but are respected in the NBA. They need more
Yeah.
of those guys. And you damn
That.
sure. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this last thing. You damn sure
No, go
can't
ahead.
have a first year coach with these guys. You cannot.
Yes.
You cannot have no first year coach because they're
Yes.
gonna do some college basketball trying shit. Like no, you got to have an established coach with these
Yep.
guys. And Ime Udoka, as much as it might be bringing a lot of attention to Houston, is a good fit because he got those guys in Boston in line. Like they
Yeah.
respected him. So I feel like these guys are going to fall in line. Houston, I think it has started this structuring of something better than what they had.
We've seen now on several occasions where a younger team gets a veteran coach and all of a sudden things change. Even if the coach doesn't stay there,
Hmm.
even if they try to get another coach to kind of get them to the next level, that veteran coach who comes in teaches them how to be professionals. And a lot of times that's what a lot of these teams really need the most. We saw it with uh I cannot remember his name. Um in,
Who coach for?
in Atlanta.
It's about Lord Pierce.
And no, after Lloyd Pierce. Because
Oh,
remember,
Nate
Lloyd
McMillan.
Pierce was a first time head coach.
Nate
Nate
McMillan.
McMillan,
Yeah,
yes. McMillan.
with the Pacers.
When he went to Atlanta and he turned everything around. Even Mike Brown now in Sacramento. Like it and kind of get those guys in line and teach them how to be professionals. You need a veteran coach or you need veteran players. Ideally, you would have both. Like as much as we hate on Doc Rivers for not playing young guys, you can never say that he's not gonna make them earn it.
100%.
Like
Like,
there's a lot of guys right now who are, on teams, like younger guys who are on teams and they're playing when they shouldn't be.
yeah, Tyrese Maxey was getting DMPs his rookie year.
Right. Like there's a lot of guys who, and it's because they don't have the veterans, and it's because they don't have a coach who's a veteran who's knows, hey, if I get fired here, I'm gonna get another job somewhere else.
And for I just looked up because I thought like Steve Clifford, Steve Clifford was a coach before, and like they got mad at Steve Clifford because Steve Clifford wasn't playing his young guys, like he wasn't playing them, like he,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And they're like, we're a rebuilding team. Why isn't Kai Jones playing? He's like, he's not ready. he's not.
exactly,
He's not ready. Why isn't James Booknight not playing? Because he's not ready. You know what I mean? And I feel as though I I'm not saying Steve Clifford is the greatest coach, but that philosophy with a young team where you don't, like you said, don't have that much options of veterans, it does
right,
play a part where it's like, oh shit, I got to get my shit together or I'm not going to play.
exactly,
And it looks very bad on me because it's like, damn, we're a young team and I can't even get fucking minutes.
exactly.
So yeah, so
I mean, you could even say the same thing about James Wiseman. The fact that James Wiseman couldn't step into the Warriors organization and be a star immediately with the amount of potential that he had shows that he's just not the guy.
mhm.
He's not the guy that people thought he was. I know he had injuries. Von Looney does.
Yeah,
Like there's literally no reason why James Wiseman couldn't be the starting center on the Golden State Warriors, other than the fact that he just didn't. He didn't have that same kind of drive or heart, and it's just like, bro, I don't care how much talent you got. I don't care if you were the number 2 pick. We a championship team.
fall in line.
Like regardless, don't even tell me what our record was last year. I don't care what we had to do to get you. We're a championship team regardless. So we're not gonna sit here and kiss your ass just because you were a number 2 pick and you were like the shit in high school or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, bro, we
because
don't care.
you wasn't even shit in fucking Memphis. You couldn't even fucking play.
Right. So it's like, bro, we not playing you just because you're supposed to be good. We're not playing you because you're our quote future. Like we're gonna play you if you deserve to play. And you saw he never could get on the fucking floor. He spent half his career in the G League already.
Yeah, and that's
So if you don't have veterans who are gonna tell you, hey, bro, you need to get your shit together. If you don't have veterans who are gonna go out there and compete for that starting spot and say like, I don't give a fuck, he was a number 2 pick or number 1 pick or whatever, I'm better than him. Like if you don't have people like that pushing you, if you don't have a coach that's gonna hold you accountable and take you out the fucking game when you do some stupid young shit, then you're not gonna succeed. And that's why I think guys like John Wall are like so upset. Like, regardless of if you wanted me around or not, you could at least let me play. You could at least let me teach these guys what it means. Like, I still have other stuff to offer.
for real. Because I think about it, Jalen Green's first year, dude shot like fucking under 40% for
Yeah,
you just chucking shit. You don't think with John Wall a playmaker, he's gonna get him in better situations? He's gonna like if not,
or or teach him how to get himself in better situations.
Right, right. It's a very stupid. It's a very stupid thing that the NBA with their new CBA is trying to fix. So good on the
Yeah.
NBA.
Every every great NBA player ever came into a situation where they had veterans on the team that was not about to kiss their ass, that was not about to say, "Hey, you're our future," but instead was going to say, "Motherfucker, we don't need you. You need us.
Like,
We will win without you or we will lose without you. It
cause,
doesn't matter.
cause think about it.
Fall in line or get left behind."
Even when we were the process Sixers, we had Jason Richardson. We had fucking Henry Sims, who was in the league for a little bit. We had Tiago Splitter. We had Ish Smith. Like, we still had vets. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
the best players at that time, but we still had vets. Like, we still had people who've been in the league who were respected, and that goes. It still goes a long way. So if the Sixers, who are trying to lose, can have vets, any team
Yeah.
should do that. And you definitely need some shit. Like, if you're gonna get draft Victor, you know what I mean? And Victor goes to fucking the only young team we don't talk shit about is the Spurs because Pop is there. That's the only reason we don't talk about them. Is because Pop.
And you know what,
is-
and it's also because the Spurs, no matter how much they give away, no matter like they're rebuilding or whatever, they're never the worst team in the league.
No.
And as long as Pop is there, they never will be, because he'll never allow that. He will never allow that. So I don't. He it's when you have a guy like that, like I said, one of those like kind of old school guys. It's like, I don't give a fuck about no rebuild. Like, I'm not about to go out there and lose games on purpose.
Hell no.
You crazy? I don't care you were the whatever pick in the draft. If Tiago Splitter is doing better than you right now, then fucking he's playing. like
Like Pop.
like
Pop.
that's the thing. Like, do you Pop benched fucking Tim Duncan?
Yes,
like
bro.
like
Bench
in a
Tim
in
Duncan,
a game where
Tony
Tim was
Parker,
already established,
and Manu
and
Ginobili.
he still took him out.
Three fucking Hall of Famers benched them because they weren't trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Once you could do that, bro, there's nothing you can tell that man. There is nothing
Nope.
that you, a fucking one and done piece of shit who just was in high school 2 years ago, is going to tell him,
Exactly.
who has forgotten more basketball than you will ever know. There's no fucking way. You know what I mean? Like,
And it trickles down to the other players. And it
yeah,
trickles down to the other players. Steven Jackson, you know, he's not the most, calm individual. He's not maybe the most level-headed individual.
hmm,
But he said being on the Spurs, watching Greg Popovich talk to Tim Duncan however he wanted to, talking to him crazy, yelling at him, screaming in his face. He was like, "Bro, Tim is just sitting there taking it. I can't say nothing."
facts. Because you're
Like,
not
if
above
Tim is just
Tim.
letting this shit happen to, if Tim Duncan is letting this happen to him, what I'ma say?
If
I'm
one
gonna be
of,
going tomorrow if I say something to this
for
motherfucker.
real, if we talk about a top 15 all time player, is getting just obliterated by Greg Popovich. And you think you can do? Nah, fuck no. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah,
and then on,
like, bro, you going?
and Pop was like, wasn't he like the GM and the fucking coach at the time? So like literally, he could have just
Um,
traded you.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the Spurs have had the same GM for a while,
No, because Pop was the GM.
or maybe they've had the same president. They've had the same president of basketball operations maybe for a while.
Yeah, because I remember
Um,
Doc was that too. He was the coach and he was the GM, which is like very fucking weird.
yeah, Tom Thibodeau as well in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. He like listen. The reason we didn't play you is because we're trading you. I didn't want to
Yeah,
tell you before the game, but pack your bags, get
yeah.
the fuck out of here. And I think
I'm trying to think of his name. His name is like right on the tip of my tongue. The guy who's the president of basketball operations for the Spurs, or the GM of the Spurs, but he's been there for a while though. Um, let me see. Let me try and find his name. No, not him. It might be the president.
Either way.
No. Whoa, what the
Or it's
fuck?
like, Sean, stop looking at porn.
I'm not looking at porn. What is his name? I think the Spurs actually have a new GM.
Brian Wright?
Yeah,
Yeah, because he became the GM in 2019. Oh, R.C. Buford.
RC Buford. Yes, he was the Spurs GM for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it was. I don't know if it was Pop. I mean, Pop has always been involved, of course, and like that kind of stuff.
R.C. Buford.
Yeah, RC Buford. He was
Wait,
a
what?
pretty well known GM.
Now I'm thinking, was Pop? I don't think Pop was the GM. I think Pop was the president of basketball operations. I don't think he was the
Maybe,
GM.
yeah,
So he was kind of the overseer of the shit the GM was doing.
maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I
I
remember.
know he has some type of hybrid role.
Yeah, because I remember like with Doc Rivers, like he signed Austin Rivers to a contract that a lot of people didn't believe that Austin Rivers deserved, and they were like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, that's his dad, took care of him."
yeah.
But yeah,
Um, let's see. There's only one series we didn't really cover yet, and that's the Lakers Warriors.
we did not. Yeah. Um.
We talked about Suns Nuggets. We talked about Heat Knicks. We talked about Sixers Celtics. We didn't really talk about Warriors Lakers, which is ironic because to most people this is the most interesting
Yeah.
series going on right now.
Most at stake in terms of like
Um,
legacy.
I
It's
don't even know. I don't
it's
even know that.
it's some
I'm not
legacy
sure about that.
speakiness, bro. It's some legacy speakiness.
I'm not so sure about that.
I feel like
I'm not so sure about that for two reasons. Number one, Steph just won one last year. They have the same amount of rings. Number two, I don't really see either one of these teams making it to the finals. So regardless of who beats who, I don't think either one of them wins a championship this year. So that's number one. And then on top of that, Steph just won one. So if Steph goes out in the second round this year, I don't know. It doesn't really take to me. It doesn't take as big of a hit on his legacy as LeBron going out
I
in the second
I
round this year.
personally believe the if
If LeBron never wins another ring and his last ring is the Mickey Mouse championship, I think that's a bigger hit on his legacy than Steph never winning another ring.
I think if Los Angeles Lakers win the series, which I don't have them winning, um, I think they get beat by Denver.
Yeah.
But if
I
the
think I
Warriors
think
win,
Jokic destroys AD.
but if the Warriors win, I do have the Warriors favored it over the Nuggets. Just because some things
Interesting.
match
Well,
up.
hold on. Well, hold on. So are you saying you think the Nuggets beat the Suns?
Kind of, kind of.
Okay.
Like what I told you
I mean,
was
I think the Nuggets beat the Suns too, but you were hesitant to say it earlier.
no, because this is what I'm saying. I do like what I said. I was like, I can't say that they're going to win the series, but I definitely think they're going to win the next two games. That's what I said. So I'm sticking with it.
Phoenix?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they might just use all the energy getting tying it up. You know what I mean? Because those
Yeah.
games aren't going to be easy. It's not like they're going to blow them out. I don't see them
Right.
blowing them out. So those games will be crazy. So you know what I mean? Obviously they could, but like I don't see them necessarily winning it. I just think Kevin Durant is ain't no way Kevin Durant going down without has 2 cents being inserted. So that is
Yeah.
what I stay on. But I do think the Warriors would be favored if they were to play the Nuggets in Western Conference Finals.
I mean, damn near Kevin Durant by himself was almost enough to get them past the Bucks.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see.
We'll
You're
see.
right, but either way, I don't. I see the Suns or Nuggets being the favorite against the Warriors or Lakers.
I personally just don't. I just don't. I damn sure don't have them like the Suns. I don't see the Suns beating the Warriors. I just don't see it. I just don't.
Hmm.
Who the fuck is Chris Paul
Okay.
guarding? Damn sure ain't guarding Steph. Who's guarding Steph?
Well, I I don't. How long is Chris Paul out?
He's out. They're gonna reevaluate him in like a week, I think. So that's like at least 2 games,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's if
So
they
we'll
travel.
see. I don't know. You might be right. You might be right. You might be right.
I'm 1,000% right.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. But you're probably right though. Um, but if it's the Nuggets, I see them beating either the Warriors or the Lakers.
I think the reason I picked I don't see the Lakers doing it, but I see the Warriors do it is because they're gonna pick and roll Jokic to fucking death. They're going to do it
Yeah.
until he can't run up. He's not going to want to run up the court after he's done with the ball movement. And
But
Jamal Murray can't keep up with Steph Curry. He can't. He just
but
can't, bro.
remember, Jokic already expends so little energy anyway.
But this is
Like
my
it's
thing.
not like he runs up the court at all anyway.
But this is the whole thing. They're going to make his ass work. Like they're going to make him
Mm,
work. And like you said, he doesn't spend much energy, but he's going to. He would.
yeah.
That's what one of the main reasons they beat the Nuggets last time is because they kept picking a roll with
Yeah.
Jokic, and Jokic got tired, and when it came down the stretch, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
At what point do you think the Nuggets consider firing Nate McMillan?
Nate McMillan, they hired him.
Nate McMillan. I'm sorry. No.
Michael Malone.
Michael Malone.
When did they sign Nate McMillan?
The
Um,
M's fucked me up. McMillan and Malone.
I don't think they do because it's not him. It's personnel. Um,
If they lose to the Warriors, it's him.
I don't think so. I feel like if they lose to the Lakers,
If
it's
they
him.
lose to the Warriors with a fully healthy team with Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, and they lose because the Warriors just put them in pick and roll for 4 games, and it worked for 4 games, I think that's probably
like,
when they at least start to
think about
consider it.
think about like I just look at the matchup wise. There's nobody on that team. KCP will be your best
No,
guy.
no, listen, I get it. I get it. It's a bad matchup, period. But at the same time, Miami's a bad matchup for Milwaukee. They always have been.
Hmm.
But that was still the reason why Mike Budenholzer got fired.
Well, the only reason he wasn't fired before
If
is because
Michael Malone isn't able to overcome the Warriors with Jokic, who's up until now the reigning MVP,
ha
two-time
ha,
MVP.
bitches, we got it. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Joel Embiid won MVP.
He did, but
How did we not talk about that?
Because we lost by 30. That's why we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, we
That's
lost
why
by 34.
We fucking lost by damn near 40. That's that
Yeah,
40
it's true.
Dylan
But-
Brooks was talking about.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid is MVP. Yay! Hooray!
Yay. Yay.
So he'll be getting his trophy, I guess, at home.
We played
Next
Friday.
game.
We played Friday, not Saturday.
I knew it. I knew it.
I don't. I guess because of distance.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think they did the same thing with the Kings Warriors series.
Yeah, because of distance, they did that. I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why that
Um,
Brooklyn series was so fast.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Every game was every other day.
No, they did have that one. They did have one, at least one, where it took 2 days in between, and then every other game.
But that was game 4.
Well, yeah, because we did sweep them, didn't we? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That wasn't game 3. It was game 4.
but Michael Malone, I just think the players love him to the point where I don't see them doing it. Like Mike Budenholzer, like literally, Giannis went to the fucking podium and without saying it, kind of said, "Hey, we kind of need a better coach." Like without saying it, he said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, and like they were talking about how Giannis like really loved Darvin Ham, and no, Darvin Ham's not there no more. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it, that literally he went to there and said, "Yeah, I should have been guarding Jimmy Butler, but our scheme wasn't for me to do that." That's literally saying our
Well,
coach.
he said that so many times.
Yeah, he said that when
He
he got
said that
they
he
asked
said
him
that
the first time.
before.
Yeah. So is that just personnel?
Yeah, in the bubble.
Because it's like they got their ass whooped, but then the next year they swept them. They swept the.
But see,
which
here's
was-
my thing though. If you've seen this before, stop listening to Mike Budenholzer. Just fucking guard Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the few things that I did. I'm about to say it again. I'm about to bring this motherfucker's name up again. That's one of the few things that I kind of liked about Ben Simmons was that he was always willing to guard the opposing team's best player.
No.
That's it. I'll leave it at that.
No.
I'll leave it at that.
No crap.
Game 3, excuse me, against the Celtics Friday night. Game 2, Warriors versus Lakers tonight,
Take it back.
currently going on, right?
Take
And
it back.
yeah, the game 3 between Suns Nuggets is Saturday.
Take it back, you bastard. You take it back.
I can't take it back. I already said it.
You take it
Anyway,
back right now.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Untitled Hoops podcast. Marquise is dead. Oh nope, he's back. He's a zombie.
Wrap this shit up, dog.
If you would like to hear more of these podcasts, of course you can go ahead and check them out. What? What'd you say? Oh, you're glitching out for a second. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. I can't tell. Can you hear me? Blink twice if you can hear me.
No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. I said wrap it up. That's what I said. I was playing around. You gotta
Oh
laugh.
my God.
You gotta laugh after you lose
What
by
was I
30.
saying? Oh,
You gotta be able to laugh after you lose by 30.
all right. Of the Untitled Hoops podcast. You can, of course, check them out on whatever streaming service you are currently listening, if you are listening, or if you're watching it on YouTube, you can, of course, go to our YouTube channel and see some of the other podcasts that we've already posted. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know how handsome you think we are.
Fuck you.
And if you want to see some other content, some older content, you can actually go over to our website. You can check out not just podcasts, but also some other cool stuff that we have there. You can see the merch that we have in the store. Buy a couple T-shirts, couple sweatpants, couple hats. Just check it out. There's something in there for everybody.
You can
You'll
buy
like
one
it. I
sock.
promise. It's high quality stuff.
You buy one sock. We only
You
give
can
out
buy
one sock.
sock,
We don't give out pairs around here. You
left
give one
or
sock.
right. You have to pick.
Left or right. You can't buy both. Don't try to
Yep.
put both in the cart. No. You either get the left one or you
One
get the
size
right
fits most.
one. What size fits most? Okay.
Yeah.
That's just
right.
FYI. These are baby socks. So you might have to stretch them out a little bit. All right.
So that's not one size fits most at all.
They're not. Shut up, Sean.
One size fits most, parentheses, babies.
Babies. Yeah, babies.
Marquise, do you have anything? Oh, make sure you follow us on the socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Low Lights Network. Marquise, would you like to say anything else?
Let's go Sixers. Yay.
Yay!
Yay.
Joel Embiid's MVP. Yay!
Sure.
Hooray!
Sure.
All right.
It doesn't help that I
Bye.
have green behind me.